Hello, welcome to the Temple of Enlightenment International Spiritual Center. My name is Issachar Bey, and I want to thank all of you for being a part of this teaching today. We are forever grateful for your presence, and we want to thank all of you for definitely being here. If this is your first time, please let us know what city, what state, what country you're listening in from. Please let us know here in the chat. We want to welcome all the new visitors. We want to thank all of you who have been sharing, all of you that have been helping us get the word out about our community here. And we also want to thank all of you who have been helping us financially. We are forever grateful. We don't take anything for granted. We want to thank all of you, and we greatly appreciate it. We speak it into existence that a hundredfold return will circulate right back to you. And we speak that into existence. I want to thank all of you for your emails of the aha moments, the golden nuggets, the jewels that you guys are getting out of these teachings every week. We are forever grateful that you guys are a part of this community, and we want to say thank you. We're continuing today with another great teaching. It is always my intention that you guys get something out of this, that you walk away different than how you came in, that your mind has been elevated, that your thoughts have been elevated, that everything in your consciousness has been elevated to a new level, a new depth every time we come together. And so it is my intention that everybody walks away different than how they came in. And we speak that into existence. If you can, go ahead and get in a nice, calm position. And we're going to quiet our minds, quiet our thoughts, quiet everything in us and around us so that we can have time to tap in and begin to really open our spiritual ear and our spiritual eye to hear this teaching for today, to grab those golden nuggets, those jewels, that we can partake and that we can apply to our lives at any given moment. And so I want you to take a deep breath and inhale and exhale. Take a deep breath and inhale and exhale. Once again, take a deep breath and inhale and exhale. I turn within to the infinite source, the one universal presence, the boundless reservoir of all supply, wisdom, and creative power. I recognize this presence as the substance behind all form, the giver behind every gift, the mind behind all manifestation. There is no scarcity in the divine storehouse, only abundance flowing through the channel of thought. I affirm now with clarity and conviction, the mind is the only bank there is. I declare that all wealth, all opportunity, and all provision first began in consciousness. I no longer look to the outer world as my source. My supply does not come from jobs, markets, or systems. It flows from the rich and inexcusable vault of divine intelligence within. I deposit ideas, I withdraw results, I invest thoughts of abundance, and I yield a harvest of prosperity. I know that every belief is a transaction, every affirmation is a spiritual currency, every image held in faith is a divine check written on the infinite. I now align my inner economy with the truth. I am abundant by nature, wealthy by design, and prosperous by divine law. I give thanks for the riches of spirit that flows freely through me. I give thanks that I am the banker, the investor, the visionary of my own financial reality. I withdraw with joy from the infinite surplus of divine substance, and I circulate wealth with wisdom, purpose, and peace. I release this word into divine law, knowing that the vaults of heaven are open and the treasury of the mind is full. My wealth is spiritual, my prosperity is certain, and my supply is eternal. And so it is, and so it is. I want to thank all of you for tuning in. Please, if you haven't done so, please hit the like button. If this is your first time, go ahead and subscribe so that you can be notified of all of our teachings and different things that we have going on our channel. Also, if you feel like this or any of our content has been beneficial to you or somebody, or will be beneficial to somebody that you know, go ahead and hit that share button, copy the link, send it by text, send it by email, and send it to somebody who you know will definitely benefit from this information. And so we're forever grateful. I want to thank all of you for helping us out by hitting the like button. It helps us to raise our algorithms. And so we are forever grateful. Today, I want to talk about, from the subject, the mind is the only bank there is. The mind is the only bank there is. I want to tell you a story about a gentleman named Benjamin. Benjamin was no rookie. He could quote passages of Neville, Goddard, Ernest Holmes, Florence Shinn, and he would quote them just like Bible scriptures. He knew them like the back of his hand. He understood affirmations, visualizations, and he understood the spirituality and the law of attraction. He had a great understanding of that. But there was one major problem with Mr. Benjamin. His life didn't match his mindset. He had affirmed abundance, but checked his account and only saw $47.32. He visualized wealth, then get a shutoff notice from the electric company. He preached prosperity and still be behind on his rent. So one day, out of frustration, he walked into a beautiful downtown bank, not to deposit money, but to change his state. He looked at the marble floors. He looked at the silence, the scent of polish. It all to him whispered opulence. And as he stood there, eavesdropping, he overheard a man say at the counter, "Yeah, yes, I'm here to withdraw the $1.2 million that was wired this morning." The line hit Benjamin like thunder. He left the bank, went home, and stared at himself in the mirror. Why does this feel impossible for me? Why does money feel allergic to my presence? And then it hit him. The man at the bank could withdraw money because he knew he had deposited. And at that moment, Spirit whispered, "Your mind is the only bank there is." That night, Benjamin didn't go to sleep. He stayed up, created an altar, and called it the vault. He put his journal, he had a blank check on there. He closed his eyes and entered the theater of his mind. And he created a mental bank, a grand vault, all gold and velvet, filled with infinite light. Angels stood as security guards on the door, and it read, the Bank of Divine Supply, branch, Benjamin Chase. He walked in, sat down at his inner bank, and began depositing spiritual assets, 250,000 in confidence, $1 million in imagination, $5 million in divine ideas, unlimited grace, favor, and divine appointments. And every morning, like clockwork, Benjamin would mentally return to that vault and withdraw an idea and then take inspired action. He woke up from a dream of teaching a workshop called Manifesting Through the Mind. In the dream, he saw a room full of people crying and thanking him. So he did it. He posted the flyer, no venue, no attendees, no confirmation, just obedience. He used Canva, he designed a flyer, and put it on Instagram. 3 hours later, 5 people signed up at $97 each. By the end of the week, 15 people signed up. He made $1,455. He laughed. I just made more money from a download than I've ever made from my job. He returned to the mental vault. This time, he withdrew a check for $5,000 and wrote it in his journal. This week, I received $5,000 from expected and unexpected sources. I don't chase money, I collect it. This is what he wrote in his journal. He visualized himself opening his email and seeing Stripe notifications. He rehearsed how he would feel. He practiced gratitude like it was already done. And that Friday, someone messaged him on Facebook, says, "Your teaching changed my life. Can I hire you for a 3-month spiritual mentoring package?" She paid in full, which was $4,800. The next day, a man had done a free reading for 6 months and paid him $250 just because. Benjamin began to cry, not because of the money, but because his mind was working. He whispered, "My imagination is my investment account. My imagination is my investment account." He made over $11,000 in that month. No ads, no funnels, just faith. He took that money and built a digital product, the Vault Workbook, How to Withdraw from the Mind of God. It sold 57 copies in 2 weeks at $33.33 each. Another $1,899 in passive income. Benjamin realized something powerful. The bank doesn't reward one-time deposits. It rewards consistent savings. So he made it daily. 10 minutes of visualization, 5 minutes of affirmation, 1 inspired action daily. He automated his wealth frequency, and his mind, richer than ever, and the world began to mirror that richness. Ladies and gentlemen, I want you to understand where we're going today and how powerful your mind is. As I said, your mind is a bank. It's the only bank there is. All of you that are listening to me right now, you have millions and millions and millions and millions and millions of dollars in your mind. The only thing we need to figure out is how to get it out. Many of you that are listening to me right now have millions of dollars in your mind. Money is not stored in banks. It's stored in beliefs. I'm going to say that again. Money is not stored in banks. It's stored in beliefs. And if you train your mind to feel rich, the universe will have no choice but to pay dividends. Benjamin didn't hustle his way to abundance. He imagined, affirmed, aligned, acted, and the results showed up with precision. Wealth begins in awareness. Benjamin's breakthrough began not with money, but with mental recognition. He realized that the external world is an echo of inner deposits. As within, so without. As within, so without. Money is not outside of you. It is the external expression of your eternal permission. I'll say that again. Money is not outside of you. Money is the external expression of your internal permission. I withdraw from what I deposit. Keep in mind, ladies and gentlemen, I withdraw from what I deposit. And so that's why it's very important about what are we depositing into our minds. As a mind thinketh, so is he. And like I said, everybody listening to me, you have millions and millions and millions of dollars inside of you. You got to realize how to get it out of your mind. So that means you have to realize what's been deposited into you. Because once you realize what's already been deposited into you, that the money's already inside of your mind, now you can withdraw. Benjamin deposited faith, he deposited creativity, and he deposited vision before dollars ever arrived. When you get a chance, write down your 5 top inner assets. Assign them to a tangible asset. My imagination is worth $100,000 a month. The reason why I do that is because what that does is that allows me to get myself in a position to where now it brings in the tangibility of it now, because I can take my imagination, I can take my creativity and tie it to a value. Now it allows me to really make that transition from intangible to tangible. The vault Benjamin created in the theater of his mind became the source of all real world money. He visualized his inner vault daily. He began to populate it with symbols. He used gold bars, stacks of bills. He began to talk about red velvet. So he began to use this, and even in the imagination of his mind, still made it very tangible in how he saw it. And what I want you to know is that what you see in your mind is what will become and be made manifest. Once again, as a mind, M-I-N-D, think of, so is he. So just to move away from this real quick, I tell people this all the time. When you get in a relationship with somebody, if there's a man that's listening to me, when you get in a relationship with a woman, you can take the word woman and replace it with a mind. So when you get in a relationship with that mind, That's what you're getting in a relationship with. You're getting in a relationship with the person's mind. M-I-N-D. Replace the word woman or the word man with the word mind. Let this mind be in you. As a mind thinketh, so is he. So you understand the power of the mind. When you're in a relationship with somebody, you're in a relationship with their mind. You start dealing with how they believe, what their beliefs are, what their thoughts are, what they thought, what you thought. That's what you're getting in relationship with, the mind. I know we get caught up in the physical appearances, the physical attraction. We get caught up in what they have, the tangible assets. But at the end of the day, you're really dealing with a person. You're dealing with their mind. Benjamin stopped letting fear be the teller at his mind's counter. I'm going to leave that right there. Benjamin stopped letting fear be the teller at his mind's counter. Sometimes we have to remove fear. We can't let fear be the teller. Because when we are going into our mind bank to withdraw that money, you can't let fear be the teller. Identify your current inner voice. The mind imagines, the action executes. Benjamin didn't just visualize, he acted. As within, so without. Once you realize what it is that you're doing, some of you have books, some of you have ideas for businesses, some of you have movie ideas, television ideas, some of you have restaurant ideas, some of you have even inventions. Y'all have come up with a product that nobody else has, that you can get patents and you can create something. We're sitting on millions and millions and millions of dollars. Some of us can write songs. There's so much money that we have inside of us that we haven't learned how to tap into it. Every visualization must be followed by a small, inspired step. Don't wait, initiate. You don't have to wait. You can go ahead and initiate. Benjamin's consistency activated spiritual compounding. His daily beliefs built unstoppable momentum. So when you start working with it, somebody right now, you have an idea, you have a concept, you have something that you believe is going to really transcend. You have an idea. You don't realize how important that is. I often think about the woman who wrote Rollins, the author of Harry Potter. This woman wrote 7 books. When she was writing the first book, she was a divorcee. Her husband left her and her daughter. They were sleeping with a friend, sleeping on the couch. They didn't have anywhere to go. She's writing these books. Just as an idea she had, these characters, what she did was, if you listen to her interview, the Harry Potter characters have all been created by her experiences in real life and also by people who are very close to her. And so she created these characters, she wrote these books. Somebody from America saw the books and began to buy the books. And these books turned into movies. These books turned into action figures. These books turned into amusement parks. And now this woman is a multi-billionaire from an idea that came from the bank in her mind. She had an idea. She had a concept. There's some of you right now that's listening to this. You have money inside of your mind, and you need to figure out how to get it out. What ideas do I have? I told you guys before, money chases great ideas. And so your mind generates ideas, concepts. You guys have been sitting down and had an idea about something. Maybe some of you have ideas that you had years ago that you put away. You need to go back and pick up those ideas. And when you pick up those ideas, you will be able to see how you've had money in your mind all the time. It's time to make a withdrawal. You don't attract what you want, you attract what you're wired for. And what are you wired for? You tune in daily to the wealth frequency by speaking your value out loud. Yeah, you only attract what you are. If you are constantly thinking about, withdrawing, after you listen to this today and it changes your concept of your mindset, and you start walking around thinking about how can I take the ideas, the thoughts, the concepts in my mind and withdraw them, and you start working on that and you start meditating on that, things will begin to happen. Things will begin to start to come into place, because what you're doing is you're now getting ready to make a withdrawal for something that's already deposited in. It's already in the bank of your mind. So you can't you can't withdraw what's not there, but you already know the deposit has been made. So yes, by all means, go and make the withdrawal. We're moving into the halfway mark of the year. And so my question to all of you is, what are you withdrawing out of the bank of your mind? What are you withdrawing out of the bank of your mind? What concepts, what ideas? You guys watch television, you watch TV shows, you interact with people. Some people see that there's problems and there's a need for a solution, and your idea that you have to rectify and to resolve this issue, this problem that's there, could also bring great financial reward. Scarcity isn't about money. It's a habitual thought. It's a habitual thought form. Benjamin deleted it by creating a surplus consciousness. So yes, when we start talking about scarcity is not that it's not enough. Scarcity says to me that you have a mindset that there's not enough. And as long as you are thinking in a scarcity mindset or through a scarcity consciousness, as a man thinketh, so is he. You're always going to pull in that scarcity because you feel like there's never enough. You feel like there's never going to be enough. There's not enough here for everybody. There's never enough. We always have to go overboard. We always have to go more than enough. You feel that way. And so because you feel that way and you are embracing that scarcity consciousness, you're always going to echo what's going on within. We are all walking mirrors. What goes on within us is a direct indication of what goes on outside of us. And so anybody who's listening right now and they're saying to themselves, man, I sure could, use an extra few dollars, I need this, I need that. It's always good to sit down and just go into your quiet place. That's why before we start our teaching, we get into a quiet position. Why? Because our spiritual ears and our spiritual eyes are open, and now we can hear things. We can be attentive and begin to hear things that we normally wouldn't be able to hear, and also see with our spiritual eye the things that maybe we have never saw before. And what happens is it allows us to get into a place where we can now figure out, what could I do to alleviate and work out this problem, this issue that I'm having? Benjamin's imagination printed the checks his life cashed. I'm going to say that again because this is key right here. Benjamin's imagination printed the checks his life cashed. It was never fantasy. It was blueprinting. So yes, he went into the theater of his mind, and I think we did this back in the Awaken the Alchemist Within. If you guys want to go back, if this is your first time here, if you haven't got into that series, it's on our channel. We have a series called Awakening the Alchemist Within. And in that series, I kind of talk about the theater of the imagination and how when you go to meditate, you're kind of closing your eyes and you're kind of thinking about, you're looking at a theater with a screen, and you see the seats like a theater, and you see the big movie screen like a theater. But on that screen, you're going to put the thing that you want to manifest, the thing that you want to bring to fruition. And so the more you focus on that, and the more you focus on that, then you will see things really come into fruition. But like I said, Benjamin's imagination was what printed the check that he cashed in real life, because his imagination was, let me create these workbooks, let me create these courses, let me create these digital products, and look what happens. It's always a good concept for you, maybe 5 minutes each morning, to practice a vivid, emotionally charged visualization. What I mean by that is exactly what I'm saying. To get into your theater of your mind and start to think about what are some of the things you want to withdraw from the bank of from your mind, maybe some things that you're working on, some things that you want to manifest, those ideas or concepts. There may be something that you're manifesting that you want to put on a theater screen of your mind, and really focusing on that, and be as detailed as possible. So those are the things as well. I often say this a lot too. This is something that's very powerful. Gratitude is not just spiritual, it's actually metaphysical. It multiplies what's already present. Giving yourself gratitude statements every morning really, really can brighten and heighten your day. And gratitude is powerful. Being grateful and expressing gratitude really shifts the aura. It really shifts the vibration and the frequency to a different perspective. So it is extremely powerful. Benjamin's idea became digital assets. His mind became the factory. His belief did the marketing. I'll say that again. Benjamin's ideas became digital assets. His mind became the factory, and his beliefs did the marketing. What 3 ways can you turn one idea into digital income, whether it's a book, a service, or a course? How many of us right now, we have experience in something, we have knowledge of something, we can teach something, we can make it into a course, we can write a book about it. These are digital assets. Some of us can provide a service. So listen, ladies and gentlemen, the money is in your mind. I want you to write this in the chat. My money is in my mind. And today I will make a withdrawal. I will make a withdrawal today. Your ability to receive determines your credit with the universe. your ability to receive. Because the universe will only give you what you are. The universe will only give you what you are. It would only give you what you are. So if I'm going to receive anything from the universe is going to give me what I give myself. Because it can only give me what I am. So whatever it is that I want, I need to become that very thing. What are you saying, Issachar? I'm saying to those of you that are listening that are saying, I want to be a millionaire. You are already, there's $1 million in your mind. What you have to figure out is how to elevate your mindset to the realization that there's $1 million in there. But guess what? There's a process. There's a process. I've many years ago, there was a quote that I heard, and it's so true to this day. It says, if you take the money in your pocket and you fill it in your mind in return will fill your pockets back up again. And that's true. If I take the money in my pocket and I buy books and I take courses and I buy digital products and I go to get I go do one-on-one sessions and counseling, and I do all of these things that are going to fill my mind back up again with knowledge, wisdom, and understanding, then what happens now is that, guess what, ladies and gentlemen? I made a deposit. I took the money in my pocket and I made a deposit into my mind through reading books, through taking courses, through going to school, whatever it is that I'm making to make a deposit in my mind. And once I made a deposit in my mind in return filled my pockets back up again. The law of reciprocity. As a man thinketh, so is he. As a man soweth, so shall he reap. You can't give and not receive. You can't sow and not reap. It's a universal law. So if I start realizing what am I feeding my mind? What am I depositing in my mind? Because I want to be able to make the withdrawal. And so, ladies and gentlemen, listen to me. If you can grasp this concept that your mind is the only bank there is, you can never be broke another day in your life. It's impossible. Because guess what, ladies and gentlemen? When you first came into this world, you already had deposits in your mind. Listen, this whole teaching that we do every Sunday is not me teaching you anything new. I'm only bringing you back to remembrance of what's already been in you. This is bringing you back to a remembrance. This is bringing you back to a remembrance of what was already within you. There's nothing new under the sun. And so if your mind is the only bank there is, it changes my perspective now. Because I've been looking at money on the outside. I've been trying to get money on the outside. I've been trying to figure out how to get money, getting a new job, doing this, doing that. And wait a minute, I've been looking in the wrong places, because the place that I need to look for the money is right here in my very own mind. That's where the money is. Show me the money. I'm showing you today, ladies and gentlemen, the money is in your mind. And if you can get into the mind and make the withdrawal, you can have as much money as you want. Benjamin didn't hoard, he circulated. He invested his time, he invested his wisdom, he invested his love. He was a giver. He didn't mind circulating, he didn't mind giving. He gave his joy, he circulated energy. What you release will return to you in circulation. That's why we practice the circulation at the end of our teaching every week. When you tap into that circulation, it's a powerful thing. One of the things that we have to be mindful of is self-doubt and negative self-talk. It is an overdraft that charges your soul daily. When you allow negative self-talk and negative doubt to come into your mind, it's an overdraft. And you need to learn how to write a cease and desist to your inner critic. Post it where you can see it. Cease and desist your negative inner critic, that negative voice, that negative thought. Cease, give it a cease and desist. Because I no longer want that negativity. I no longer want those negative thoughts. I no longer want those negative ideas to come around me, because I'm moving in a new direction. I'm now getting money from my mind. Some of you tonight will go home, and I hope that you will leave different than you came in, because we all have been looking for money from the wrong place. We're looking for money outside of ourselves. We're trying to figure out how to get as much money as we can, and we're working jobs, and we're doing this, and we're doing that. When the only real money there is the money in our minds. Your mind is the only bank there is. Your mind is the only bank there is. What I like to look at is when Benjamin aligned his thoughts with his feelings and his action, he created the return of his investment. Everything you do in life, ladies and gentlemen, you need to start looking at it as an investment. And when you do that, it changes the way you move. It changes the way you think and how you operate. Because no longer are you doing things just to be doing things. When you start thinking about, like, okay, what am I going to read? What am I watching? Who am I communicating with? Who am I spending time with? Because everything I do is an investment. And I want to make sure I get a return on that investment. I want to get a return on that investment. And that's why you need to review your mental portfolio. What thoughts yield a return on investment? What thoughts bankrupt it? You got to learn how to remove those thoughts that bankrupt it and begin to embrace the thoughts that will help you to yield a return on your investment. The subconscious possesses transactions without your conscious approval. Before bed, I give my mind permission to multiply my wealth while I'll sleep. I give my mind permission to multiply my wealth while I'll sleep. We look at so many different ways how people are making money in the world. We're looking at entertainers, singers, rappers, R&B singers, gospel artists. We look at movie stars. We look at social media influencers. We look at the cars, the houses. We look at all those things. And some of us believe that we have to do those things in order to get money. But you have to realize the money was in your mind. When I look at Steve Jobs, who created the Apple phone, the iPod. When I look at Bill Gates, who created Google and Microsoft, right? These guys started in their garages. They begin to make the withdrawal. They begin to work on it. When we look at Jeff Bezos, who started Amazon in his garage, and look what Amazon is now. They sell everything. I was looking at the other day, you could buy a car off of Amazon now. Amazon sells everything. Everything you can buy off of Amazon. And he started in his garage. Steve Jobs started his garage. Microsoft started in the garage. Zuckerberg started Facebook. He was in college. The money is in your mind, ladies and gentlemen. It's in your mind. I want to let you know this, ladies and gentlemen. You are the bank, you are the banker, and you are the beneficiary. Let me say that again. You are the bank, you are the banker, and you are the beneficiary. You are the source, the approval system, and the receiver. You don't just go to the vault, you are the vault. Now, I don't want to confuse some of you because it takes a process. Yes, your mind is the only bank that there is, but you are the bank. You are your own mind. There's no separation between you and your mind. Let this mind be in me that was also in Christ Jesus. But as a mind thinketh, so is he. That's why I told all of you earlier, whenever you are talking about relationships with somebody and you say, you know what, I met this person and we're going out and I really like them, and they ask you, well, you know, what's going on? You want to make sure that you get in contact with their mind. Who are they? Who are they? Their mind. Because your mind is the only bank there is. And so sometimes we're around people who their minds are bankrupt. They don't have any deposits. Their bank accounts are empty. And if you stay connected to them long enough, your bank account and your mind will be empty. So that's why it's very important that you understand your friends are a resume of who you're going to become. So you need to start hanging out with people, like-minded people, who also know how to withdraw from the bank of their mind. Some of you will take this message and do great with it. Some of you will go and create courses and books and create movies and create all kind of products and begin to withdraw money and ideas and everything from your mind, because you will realize that the money is in your mind. And somebody might be saying right now, you know what, I do need some extra money. I need some extra money. I got some things I need to take care of. And if that's true, then just go to your mind. Go to the bank of your mind and make a withdrawal. There's some ideas. There's some concepts. There's some things in there that you can withdraw and that you can cash out. Yes. Ladies and gentlemen, your mind is the only bank there is. It's the only bank there is. It's the only bank there is. And I want you to know that it's an amazing thing to realize and understand now that I no longer am succumbed to the outer bank, but I'm the inner bank, and that the bank in my mind is the most dominant bank, is the powerful bank, is the real bank. And when you understand that and when you begin to work that and begin to connect with that, you will be amazed at how your life will begin to change when you start operating from this level of consciousness. Some of you may need to go back and listen to this a couple of times so you could really embrace this, that my mind is the only bank there is. My mind. Some of you are sitting on products that can solve so many problems. Some of you are sitting on inventions, stuff that nobody has ever thought about. The money is in your mind. Some of you have concepts and ideas. And some of you are sitting on it saying, nobody's going to buy this. Nobody's going to take this serious. Nobody's going to really, I don't believe anybody's going to buy this if I create this, and don't even know that it's worth millions and millions and millions of dollars. I authorize abundance in all accounts of my life. When you realize your thoughts are checks, your beliefs are wire transfers, and your feelings are direct deposits, you treat your mind like the treasury it really is. Now, let me say that again, ladies and gentlemen. When you realize your thoughts are checks, and your beliefs are wire transfers, and your feelings are direct deposits, you'll treat your mind like the treasury it really is. You know, every day we ought to be affirming and speaking into ourselves and beginning to talk and begin to say stuff like, my mind is the bank of unlimited wealth. I deposit belief and withdraw blessings. My imagination is my greatest asset. Every day is a profitable transaction. I cash in on my consciousness. My worth is divine and priceless. I receive deposits of opportunity daily. These are the kind of things that we need to constantly speak into existence. I am funded by favor. I am always in overflow. My thoughts generate wealth. These are the things. Now, when you start to really operate from the concept that my mind is the only bank there is, and you really start to really hone in on that, and you really start to you really start locking in with that, there's a lot of things that will begin to happen in your life. You'll begin to tap into a level of mastery of eternal energy and mental force. You will be released, or you will be removed from scarcity and money anxiety. You will begin to move into a sacred or unbelievable level of entrepreneurship. You begin to remove yourself from the old patterns of poverty, because poverty is a mindset. It is a mindset. You will also, by understanding this concept today, ladies and gentlemen, you will have a daily access to the spiritual treasury of your mind. Your mind is a treasury. It's the sacred place. It's the most powerful tool we have, the most powerful thing we have. And when you begin to understand that and tap into that and really understand that my mind is the only bank there is, so many of us have money. So many of us have opportunities. You know, when you look at everybody else that's making money and you say to yourself, it looks like it's impossible, that's because you haven't come to the realization that your mind is the only bank there is. And when you come into that concept, you'll be like everybody else. You'll be making money based off withdrawing from your mind. Some of you have business ideas. Some of you have businesses that you need to create. So there's so much money to be made. You know, one of the things I tell people like this: nobody leaves the earth with money. So keep that in mind. Everybody listening to me, you were born, and then one day we're going to expire. But when you expire, you don't take money with you. You don't take the tangible money with you. It stays on earth, which means money never left the earth. So if money never left the earth, there is no shortage of money. You have to now realize that the only bank there is in your mind. Your mind is the only bank there is. And when you understand that, you now put yourself in a position to now start magnetizing some of that money that's in the world. Because it's in the world, it's not going nowhere. Yes, other people have a lot of it. Some people have a little bit of it. But guess what? It ain't going nowhere. It's staying on earth. Your goal in the game of life is to get as much of it as you can. But understand that you're not doing this from a physical standpoint, from a spiritual standpoint, because you understand that your mind is the only bank there is. Not Bank of America, not Chase, not Wells Fargo, not the Navy Federal Credit Union or any of these other banks or Citibank or any of these other banks, but your mind. Your mind is the only bank there is. And some of you need to start studying banking and really understand how a bank operates. Because when you understand how a bank operates and you understand that your mind is the bank, whew, it changes everything in your life. It changes your perception. It's amazing how knowledge will change your life. Knowledge will change your life. Knowledge will change your life. So that's why I'm forever grateful that you guys continue to join me every week, because it is my intention that something that was said today, something that was discovered today, something that was embraced today will change somebody's life. Somebody will walk away from today and be in a total shock. Their life will be shaken up because they have been closed in, they have been boxed in, and now they realize that all this time I've been living from the outside in instead of living from the inside out, and realizing that all this time the money that I've been looking for, it was always in my mind, because my mind is the only bank there is. And so we look at the concept. I look at somebody like a Tyler Perry who went into the theater of his mind and created a character called Medea. And he began to do these little plays, and these plays began to take off. And then he turned around and took the plays and turned them into movies. It sounds familiar, just like the lady from Harry Potter. And these movies began to take off, and he began to create more plays and more movies and more plays and more TV shows and more plays. And now he's a billionaire. He became a billionaire because he got and understood to take the withdrawal from his mind. Medea came from his mind. It came from people that he grew up with, situations, his mother's influence, but he went into his mind and began to withdraw the concept, the idea. And so from that, he's now able to do some miraculous things. Why? Because he understood that his mind is the only bank there is. And when you listen to his story, it's amazing. And let me tell you why. Because Tyler Perry gives a story one time. He was getting ready to sell one of his movies to a network. And the network at the last minute decided not to buy it. And because they never bought it, that's the reason. That's one of the reasons why he is who he is now. Because if they had bought that movie, he would have no longer had ownership. And that's one of the things that makes Tyler Perry who he is today, is because he owns everything. Nobody gave him anything. He went and took the withdrawal from his mind, from the bank of his mind. And sometimes it's a blessing when the door is closed. That's another way on another day. We got to talk about that later. But sometimes it's a great blessing to have a door closed in life. And you can get upset and you don't understand why the door closed. But sometimes a closed door can be an absolute blessing because it pushes you to move to something else. It pushes you to go within. It pushes you not to rely on somebody else, but to rely on you. Because when NBC or whoever the network was decided not to buy the show, it now forced him to go within and now begin to make the withdrawal. And we have all of these movies and all of these Medea TV shows and so forth later on, and he's a multi-billionaire. A couple of, I think it was last year or a year before, Beyonce came out with the concert when everybody was wearing the silver. It's not the cowboy one. The cowboy one is going on now. It was the one before that one. I guess it was the house music the house music one. She did a movie based on the concert, the tour. And I didn't go to the tour, but I was able to watch the movie. The movie was phenomenal because here is Beyonce. She has a vision board book. You got to watch the movie. It's amazing. She has this vision board binder that has all of these designs and ideas and concepts that she had in her mind. Beyonce went within and began to make the withdrawal out of her mind to create this concert. And she lays out how she used this vision board binder as a stepping stone to be able to transform her life based on withdrawing from the theater of her mind. It's absolutely amazing. So when I tell you that your mind is the only bank that there is, that's what it is, ladies and gentlemen. That's what it is. So I hope that you guys are blessed by today. Definitely, I want to thank all of you. If you can hit the like button, let us know that you are with us. Go ahead and subscribe to this channel. And then also, if this teaching was a blessing to you, if this teaching was magnificent, if it was great, go ahead and hit that share button, copy the link, email it, text it, send it to somebody who you know needs to hear this. I want to offer you guys the opportunity for circulation. Some of you are saying right now, hey, Issachar, I want to go into the mind, the bank of my mind, and begin to make a withdrawal. That's great. I'm with you. I'm standing with you, my brother, my sister. If you want to be part of our circulation, whatever it is that you want to donate to our organization, if you want to donate to our ministry, we are forever grateful. Those of you that want to sow a seed, we are 100% grateful for all of your support. There are 4 ways that you can give. The first way is going to be Cash App, which is going to be $TOESC. Once again, that's $TOESC. Then again, we also have PayPal and Zelle are going to both be by our email, which is going to be info, INFO, at TOESC.org. Once again, that's info at TOESC.org. All of the ways to give are also in the description below, so you can take a look at that. And then we also have our Venmo. Those of you that want to use Venmo, the email address is going to be Issachar Bey, ISSACHARBEY @gmail.com. That's going to be Issachar Bey @gmail.com. If you want to go ahead and use those to make your donation, to sow your seed. We speak it into existence that once you circulate, what you put out, it will circulate. It will come back to its original point of origin. And we believe that all financial gifts, all the seeds, all the donations that are given into this organization, that you will receive a 100-fold return that will circulate back to you, and that your life, everything that you put your hands to do, will begin to manifest and begin to be made successful in this season. We speak it into existence, and so it is. I want to thank all of you for tuning in today and being a part of this great teaching. I want to let you know that your destiny is not a matter of chance, but it's a matter of choice. I love you, and there's nothing you can do about it.